Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Dodgers, Yankees, East Coast, West Coast. A lot of other playoff teams linked up. Seattle, KC. There's a whole National League. We were in London. Let's talk ball. Well, I guess we weren't in London.
Twin City Connect jerseys.
Oh, strike three.
Yeah.
You're out.
Yeah. I'm out.
Hello and welcome to Talking Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. Code Talkin10. 10% off SeatGeek. Whether you're across the pond watching some baseball over there, whether you're stateside, whether you're watching, I don't know, the Nats bully the Braves. Code Talkin10. Whether you've used any of our SeatGeek codes before or not, 10% off any tickets. So what are you doing? If you're going to something, use SeatGeek, use that code. Trevor Plouffe, getting nasty in St. Paul?
There they are.
Wow.
You know what? I think these got a negative reaction online. I've been privileged to see kind of everything that they've done. I think they're going to look a lot better on field.
Okay.
And they have some other cool stuff planned with like the catcher's equipment and stuff like that. So I think we need to like let these breathe a little bit.
Instant reaction. Instant reaction.
What's your
seen this.
instant reaction?
If you're on the YouTube, subscribe. I don't like the hat. Like the jersey passes the vibe check for me. The yellow brim, that's a little tough for me. I don't know.
I think a lot of people feel that way. It's part of like the new state flag and North Star and all these things going into it. There was a lot of thought process that went into these things, as they are for most of the City Connects. But I'll see him in person today. I'm excited.
New state flag in Minnesota?
Yeah.
That's electric.
We're doing it. We're
Flag
doing
drops.
it here.
Awesome.
How much time and effort went into that?
I'm not from Minnesota. Don't
I
ask
know.
me that.
I know.
California could use an upgrade of their state flag. The bear? Come on. I've never even seen a bear in California.
Dude, that's a sick flag.
It's one of the good ones.
That's like a college wall flag.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's compared to other flags in the U.S., but we don't compare ourselves to the rest of the U.S.
I'm over it. How's road dog life?
Dude, I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think you could hear it. Like I was sick the last time we recorded. I'm still like I feel the same kind of not great, Jake. But it's fun. I love calling the game. So I was in Pittsburgh. PNC is amazing, dude. Like
Yeah, really is.
got to
It
catch
lives
up
up
with
to
Kutch
it.
and Rowdy.
Oh.
Had to talk with Rowdy for a little bit. That was a lot of fun, man. But
Okay.
things are good. Things are good.
You still doing that media crap with Germ Boy?
He doesn't really talk like
No,
that.
that wasn't an impression of either of them. I like what was it, Wayno? He was doing the London games and he said Harper was in the tunnel and like ignored him or whatever, and Wayno was like, all right, I'm a media man now.
Exactly, dude. Nobody cares. Like, dude,
Yeah.
as much as I feel like I'm like one of the boys, I'm not. Like,
You're
at
out,
all.
dude. Michael Tonkin's not. He's one of the fellas.
You look like you're in a frat, like you're
Yeah.
going back to college.
Honesty hour. I'm so backed up on laundry. It's gonna be like 80 today. I'm wearing pants. Like although I am wearing my Jake Cronenworth signature collection Fuego house hat. So
I was gonna say the hat
lad.
is like total F boy hat. Like
it's the Jakes, baseball Jakes. It's just what we do. And I'll say it quick because it did make BBD giggle this morning. I had a little happy hour buzzaroo going, and Cronenworth like dropped this hat and was on like Instagram, and I DM'd him and I was like, "Is there a limit on how many I can buy?" Kind of making a little bit of a Jake joke, and he's just like, "Ha ha ha!" And then like a week later, he DM'd me. I didn't order one, and he was like, "Did you get one yet?" And I was like, "Oh God!" And then I was like, "No, doing it right now, bro." It's a good hat. Good hat.
so
the hat looks
did
like
you order
a
it?
good hat.
I ordered it.
he bullied you into ordering.
I mean,
that
I
hat.
wouldn't
love
say
it.
that. You could say that.
You could say that.
Trev, there's a lot of, we could talk about how my Cincinnati Reds are back in the mix. We could
They're
talk
back.
about the Braves on the struggle bus a little bit. We had baseball in London. But, Trev, that's all National League, Pop.
Oh, it's Monday.
It's Monday. We'll get there. But I got to tell you, my God, Kevin Biggio DFA'd. The AL has some news, and I think we talk about it right now. And it starts with the granddaddy of them all. The Los Angeles Dodgers just moved from Brooklyn. The New York Yankees, they teed it up for 3. And the Dodgers are back. They win the first game. We got 0s through 10. Dodgers win that one 2-1. Teoscar Hernandez. He was all over this series, including the grand salami in game 2. But then the Yankees, Sunday Night Baseball. Here comes the judge and Trent Grisham. We want Soto. We do, but not in that moment. Good for Trent with the 3-run homer. Yankees salvage the set. Dodgers. They're back. The Orioles, Trev. They've been here all along, right? They're living up to expectations, but the Yankees are back. No one cares, Yankee fans. Orioles, they take the first 3 out of 4 against the Rays in the reach-around series. Anthony Santander, he's been going off. My guy Ryan Mountcastle, gunner, obviously. They're going to play today, and more so the Rays are the story, as they are last place in your American League Beast. The Kansas City Royals, they faced off with the Seattle Mariners. Royals are in a tough stretch right now. 4 first-place teams they're playing. Mariners are one of them, and they took 2 out of 3, including a dramatic comeback from down 8-0. Bobby Witt Jr. with the triple that brought down the town. Nelson Velasquez, all he does is walk off these days. They even fought in the last game. Extra innings, MJ Melendez, it's a pretty swing when it clicks. They go to extras. Julio with a big hit, same with Cal Raleigh. Cole Reagan's allowed a homer for the first time since May 11th. Mariners salvaged the last game, but Royals hold serve. Red Sox, White Sox, should this be more of a rivalry? What are these teams? No one's really a rival with the White Sox right now, worst team in baseball. But that's the bad news for the Red Sox, because they split 4. Tanner Houck did his thing per usual. Couple big games by Duran, Rafaela. But credit to the White Sox. Garrett Crochet has been shoving. And Gavin Sheets putting up some nice numbies on the year. But yeah, sorry guys, you split 4. Can't really talk about that. Brewers, Detroit Tigers. Man, the Brewers used him and abused him in the first game. We're stealing home. Tobias Myers. Hey, we're talking about the Brewers trading for guys. They say we don't care. Here's Tobias Myers for 8 shut on your head. Blake Perkins and Terang at the bottom of that lineup torturing. But speaking of torture, the final game. Tarek Skubal, Trev. He hits 101 on the gun? Excuse me? I thought he was just like the funky lefty. That's some serious cheddar from the big guy. Fastest pitch from someone not named Paul Skeens. I think I saw that this year from a major league starter not named Paul Skeens. The Texas Rangers and San Francisco Giants, they played 3, and the Giants took the first 2, man. The Rangers have a bad case of the don't hits this year. Even Michael Lorenzen, who's been great over his last 5 starts, wasn't enough. Rangers lost 4 out of 5. Elliot Ramos, your guy, he's been going nuts for the Giants. Rangers get the last game. They have some crazy stat. When they score 3 runs or more, they're 28-13. When they don't, they're 2-19. Rangers, let's score. The Houston Astros, they took 2 out of 3 from the Angels. Almost a sweep, but there's Logan O'Hoppe with the walk-off on the final game. Their Angels' first walk-off this year, and they also have a bad case of the don't scores. But Framber with the shut piece, Jordan with the big game after that. And then the Blue Jays, they do enough. They get 2 out of 3 against the A's. The IKF game people are talking about, and that J.J. Bleday walk-off. Blue Jays do enough to get out of the cellar of the AL East and get some of that trade talk out of here. Trev, you got standings? Always.
Pop, excellent job. One mistake. You didn't talk about Matt Vierling robbing a homer. It's okay.
Oh, God.
It's okay. He's the best player in the league. Well, it's Monday, so let's start in the Central.
Yeah.
In the AL Central, those guard dogs. Steven Vogt's got him playing like some dogs, that's for sure. 42-22, 20 games over 500. The Kansas City Royals, 4 games back of that. They're 39-27. We're going to talk about Bobby Witt Jr. a little bit. My Minnesota Twins, tough road trip. 34-31. They're 8.5 games back. Detroit Tigers, 1 game under 500 at 32-33. And then the White Sox are just, it ain't good. South Side, not good right now. 17-49. We'll go out west, where the Mariners are 37-30, 5 games ahead of those Texas Rangers, 31-34. The Astros, 30-36. What is you doing, baby? And then you got Oakland and LA. Oakland's 26-41. And LA, the Angels, are 25-40. Will finally make it all the way back out east, where your Yanks, very good team, 46-21. Baltimore Orioles, very good team, 42-22. They're 2.5 games back of the Yankees, and everybody else is just way down there. The Red Sox, 33-33, kind of like the symmetry right there, but 500 ball. Toronto, 32-33, and then Tampa Bay, kind of a what is you doing, baby, there as well, 31-34, 14 games back of the New York Yankees. And if we're looking at the wild card, Minnesota's got the last one. Boston 1.5, Detroit 2, Toronto 2, Texas 3, Tampa Bay 3, Houston 4.5. Like, with the extra playoff, everybody's in this dang thing right now. But those are the standings in the American League.
Trevor, magnificent. Nothing short of special. Young Byron Buxton running. A little Jakey lytics to start. A new game I've started to play with myself is look at the standings on this date last year.
Okay.
Your 2 best teams in the American League on June 10th.
Let me guess.
June 10th last year.
Orioles.
Wrong.
Really? American League team, best team last year.
I can give you one hint.
Tampa Bay.
One team had a perfect April, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Tampa Bay. Yeah, I should have guessed that right away. And it wasn't the Orioles. It wasn't anyone in the West, I don't believe, unless the Astros got off to a good start. Yes?
Other Texas team.
Wow, the Rangers. I thought they came on hot late. Okay.
So, yeah, it was just funny, especially because the Rays and the Rangers are both tied at 31-34 right now. Shows you how much can happen in a calendar year. Those Texas Rangers won the World Series. The Rays did not. And both of those teams, when they don't hit a lot. We'll get there in a second. I think let's scratch the itch. We're mainstream media, Yankees, Dodgers.
Yeah. This is the show, people.
This is it. This is what we want. Star power all over the field. Kind of
all
ironic.
Our audience puking over their whatever they're watching.
Kind of ironic that Game 1 opened up 0s through 10 in this matchup that baseball was hyping up for a month or so. Trev, we were in the building last night. Really good environment. Dodgers and Yankees fans. Dodgers fans travel.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's just start with this.
I saw your face call timeout.
Yeah, because our social team was like, hey, thanks Dodgers fans for paying for Soto next year. So now we're making fun of teams' fan bases for traveling and watching their team play.
So
didn't like that one, Kyle.
Do I think sometimes our social team can get a little cliquey? Yes. Is that a part of the gig? Yes. Yeah, that was. I'm
going to explain the goatees thing because Jimmy put that out as well.
Which one?
That's just a lot of goatees.
Are
in
the
one
goatees
picture.
coming back?
Oh, are goatees back? I think goatees has always been at the same level. I don't think that stock has ever gone up or down.
That's exactly the take I was going to say. That's an LA thing, particularly like an East LA thing. I mean, that's been around.
Juan Soto, very good. The Yankees, their Thursday game against the Twins, who they swept. There was a rain delay. Juan Soto comes out. Oh, sorry. Just trying to inform the people. Forearm tightness. Everyone gets scared. The Yankees have had 4 position players in recent memory have to get Tommy John. So they get some scans done. That's not going to happen. We'll see if Soto plays against Kansas City this week or if they retroactively IL him. Seems like he's going to play, but we never know. So the Yankees, Juan Soto, that's been revolutionary to this team and has changed the whole energy while being a top 2 hitter in the league and on that team. Yankees lineup looks a little thin and a little more different without him in it. So when those zeros start going up in this series that was promised to us, I don't know. The Yankees, it was the first time they've kind of run into some adversity this year. And meanwhile, the Dodgers, who had been struggling a little bit, looked like they were feeding off the juice of the stadium. And Yoshinobu, who I think you're going to talk about your guy in a little bit, and Teoscar, my guy, they showed up in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it there, and I'm not going to say that. I wasn't going to say something mean about Soto and having an excuse in this series, but the reality is, Jake, it's very true. Without Soto in that lineup, the Yankees team is massively different. It's still a very good team, but navigating Volpe, Soto, Judge is very, very difficult. And when he came out after the rain delay, it definitely, that was the first time I thought the Twins had a chance to beat the Yankees.
Yeah.
It just felt different. So that's, I'm happy for you guys that it seems like he's avoided any serious type of injury, just a little bit of inflammation. So definitely a game changing player. Like we all know that, but when you see it in real time and he comes out, it's a little, it almost works in his favor that he got hurt. Like, take me out of that roster, out of that lineup, and see how Yankees fans feel. So, but this was a great series for the Dodgers. I'm going to talk about Yamamoto. Good on. I think the best part of the series was the whole Trent Grisham thing. They're chanting they want Soto to hit for him. He hasn't had a great start to the year offensively whatsoever.
No.
He's basically known first as a defensive guy, but a huge homer there, and that. You have no idea. I mean, I don't even know how good that feels when people are chanting for somebody else to hit and then you hit a homer. So that was a cool moment for him. And you're right, Teoscar he's been that guy for the Dodgers.
Yeah. And, okay, so little Blue Jay shrapnel incoming. It's kind of interesting where we're at with these Blue Jays. Remember, part of that young core in the Blue Jays, Teoscar was there, who's as steady and consistent of a threat as you'll find. Also, like Lourdes Gurriel on the Snakes, who he does his thing on a baseball field. I don't know. Sorry, Blue Jays fans, but it's just something, looking at the roster in a Blue Jays team that's been looking for more offense. It's like, wait, these were 2 guys that were part of the core that aren't part of the core anymore. Anyways, and the other thing that I was looking at, because when you're talking about these two, these are 2 elite teams. With Soto being out, that obviously changes the Yankees. And the other thing that stood out for me was obviously Teoscar. And just a reminder that the Dodgers didn't have to do that move. The Dodgers didn't have to throw $23.5 million or whatever it is at Teoscar for 1 year. When they have Chris Taylor, when they have options, but they're trying to win a World Series, and especially as we approach the deadline, because the Yankees, they're having some interesting combos. Like Rizzo gets benched for a couple days, and they've got some concerns. And when we're talking about your team, we're even going to talk about the Braves in a little bit. Like, they've been struggling. When we're talking about World Series aspirations and stacking that roster, I don't know. It's just a reminder, like, Los Angeles Dodgers sure didn't need Teoscar Hernandez, but they got him because they're trying to win a ring.
I think they did need him, and they're very happy that they went out and got him, because that outfield can look pretty thin, especially with Outman struggling, and I don't expect them to be done whatsoever. I feel like they're kind of pushing the chips into the middle of the table. But going into Yankee Stadium, which has been an electric atmosphere. I want to give credit to Yankees fans. When I was there, against the Twins, that was a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday series, and like the place was packed and it was juiced. It was cool. So it's nice to see that, walk into a ballpark with the energies like that.
Most energy the stadium's had since I've moved back here since 2020. And obviously COVID and mixed bag of teams and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
what's COVID?
I'm
putting that out of my life, bro.
It's out. Although there still is a COVID IL in baseball.
I might have COVID right now. I don't know.
There's a 7-day COVID IL. Your team may have used it this year or not. But yeah, the stadium's been rocking. Yankee fans are excited. And good on the Dodgers. Came on the road trip, did their thing, the top of their lineup, plus Teoscar. And actually, the game they lost, the bottom of their lineup went nuts. They were like 5 for 11, so we'll see if that can spark Lux or any of those guys down there. And yeah, a little more Yamamoto talk going. And if you have no idea what Trev was referencing, Trent Grisham comes up, and the people of the beautiful bleachers in New York start chanting, "We want Soto." During his at-bat, pretty tough. 2 runners on. Trent Grisham hitting under the interstate at that time. I think it was 083, 3 hits on the season. First time being a real bench player. Pisses on one. 3-run homer, flips that whole game. And the next time he comes up, the bleachers say, "We want Grisham." So it's kind of like it was a good New York sports moment. It's like, hey, we're going to be tough, but if you do something for us, we'll be on your side.
Yes.
Enough of this New York, LA agenda.
Seriously, that was way too long.
God. Who are these teams anyways? The Baltimore Orioles, Trevor. You were noting before the program, are we sleeping on the Birds? Because their record is where you think it is, and they've just taken 3 out of 4 playing the 4th today against Tampa, who Tampa is not where we thought they would be. So I don't know. I mentioned Santander on my way through. He's put together a bit of a heater. But yeah, the Orioles definitely have a case of the Yanks are stealing our shine, because the Orioles record is right where you'd think the Baltimore Orioles would be, 42-22.
Yeah, and all the stats are, they're, 3rd in OPS. They're the whip for the starters and the relievers are like top 3, top 5. Like they're a complete team. They're really doing it. And this series really showcased that. Kyle Bradish, a couple of relievers. I think they retired 26 or 27 batters in a row. They're just, this team can be dominant. And I think in my mind, I'm still like, are they a pitcher short? And then every time they go out, they're just shoving. So like you're getting guys like Cole Irvin and Kyle Bradish they're doing it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And you back it up with that offense. It can be, they're a team that I think all season long has gotten performances from their main guys. But when those guys struggle in a certain game, like their lineup is so long and so deep that like somebody's coming through. They're putting a threat together every single game. And as I watch more and more baseball around the league, I'll go and I watch the Pirates, and they can be a decent team, but they don't have that at all.
Yeah.
The Twins don't have that at all. Like the ability to that lineup, that length in the lineup. That's what good teams have, and they definitely have that in spades. So again, yeah, I do agree with you. I think that because New York has gotten off to the start that they've gotten off to, it's probably played perfectly for the Orioles because they just go out and do their thing. Do they even care, like the team themselves? Probably not. But just in our view as, I guess, the media, it's kind of what it seems like to me. Like we almost, in 1 year, we went from like, whoa, is this Orioles team for real? Can they keep this up? And they win whatever they won last year. And then now we're like, we just expect it.
Yeah.
Like how fast did that happen? We're just like, oh yeah, the Orioles are really good. Like they can do it. And they have a bunch of guys sitting ready to be called up or traded to improve this roster. I think they're going to be one of the most fun teams to watch at the trade deadline. I'm very curious to see what they do, if it's as simple as going and getting bullpen help. Or are they going to make a splash sign? Or like I had them pegged as like, hey, can you go out and get Luis Robert? Like, could you go do that? Do you need that? Like,
no.
Like the Dodgers, sometimes you just got to go out and get guys.
Yeah.
Stack your roster even more. I mean, we'll see what they do. I think that's kind of what I think about with the Orioles right now is they're going to be in the playoffs. And they were there last year, got beat. So now they're thinking, what do we need to go on a sustained playoff run? And we'll see. I mean, it's coming up.
Closing off on the Orioles, I enthuse you to go check out their baseball reference. Currently, every person listed as their starter at a position has a positive OPS plus, except Cedric Mullins in center field. And I don't know, they've got this whole, they just kind of breed blue-eyed blonde outfielders. So if they need to do that internally, they can, or if they want to go get Lou Bob or something. And we always do this with the Orioles. Go check out their pitching. I know ERA, I was going to say ERA is not everything. Kind of is. Earned runs allowed. Like it's a chunk of it.
It's not predictive though. Dude, I can't.
Corbin Burns, 226. Grayrod, 327. Your guy Cole Irvin, 287.
I know.
Kyle Bradish, 262. Don't make me talk Albert Suarez. So the Orioles are back.
Don't do it.
It's going to be exciting to see their next Yankees series because that's going to be real. But I think maybe even more of the story, and I mentioned where they were in the standings last year, and the thing that blew us away, the Rays mauled last year. Their offensive stats were gross. We kept being in shock, and it's like, where is it coming from? They've got platoon guys. They got guys balling out. This year offensively, they are one of the worst teams in the American League, and I think over baseball, they're 14th in the AL in OPS and slugging. And then there's just some ugly numbers. They're last in homers. They have the most caught stealings. So not only is it like not a good brand of offense and not the star-laden lineup that you look at Mookie, Freddie, Ohtani, like you don't have those guys. So if you don't have those guys, you need contributions from a lot of different areas, and they're not getting anything.
I mean, one of their better hitters last year, or one of like a guy that had a good year last year, they just DFA'd in Harold Ramirez.
Right?
They're 27th in OPS in all of baseball. Their bullpen whip is 25th. So this is like stuff like and everyone always says, when's the shoe going to drop? Which I thought was a Cinderella reference. It's not. When are the Rays just not going to surprise people and kind of get a roster that's seemingly like a ragtag group of dudes to win 95 games? And right now, I mean, they're under 500. They're not hitting. Their bullpen isn't where it usually is. And I can't tell if this is like, oh man, they're about to go on a heater, or if this is just who they are.
I think we've got this week. We've got, I don't know how to label this series, but a potential someone gets really, really sad series. The Rays and the Cubs both been on the struggle bus big time. They're playing this week. If one of those teams could find something, but yeah, I mean, I keep using the 1 year back comparison, but I just want everyone to try to remember the Rays were going nuts offensively, and they had the best record in baseball. And now 1 year later, and this is a roster that, yes, there's changes, but I don't know. Obviously, the one you could point to, Wander. I mean, that guy's been completely off the radar. But yeah, I mean, you met Harold Ramirez. That was a guy for the Rays. It felt like he was an 800 OPS guy. I think they would lead him off against lefties sometimes, and he had like crazy numbers. So I don't know. Last in the majors in home runs, only better slugging than the Marlins and the White Sox. It's not going to get it done. Trev, a juicy American League. Well, I think the last juicy series is Seattle and KC. The Mariners have been leading the West for a while now. The Kansas City Royals, a little a little Orioles of the Central. Like
they're just winning baseball games, man.
They're
Different ways. Yeah.
I'm not doing this to throw Jimmy under the bus. You'll see where I'm going. Late night last night. Me, BBD, Jimmy leave Yankee Stadium 2 a.m., 1 a.m. Got late.
I think I walked into my apartment at 2.
Got late.
Why was it so late?
Ball players. We're team
Sunday
playing.
night baseball.
So, there's some talk in the booth because obviously this Dodgers series was so big. But, we were talking to a couple people going to Kansas City. Everyone always gets excited for the barbecue and says it's one of the sneaky best road cities to go to. And then it was kind of like a head tilt, like, I'm kind of excited for that series. Like, Seth Lugo starts game 1. His numbers are crazy. Brady Singer. So, and the Royals are in this stretch. They're playing 4 first-place teams. I think it was Cleveland, Seattle, Yankees, Dodgers. So this is kind of their test that Jimmy at 1:30 in the back of an Uber, romantic. He was like, "Hey, are the Royals good?" And I was like, "I think so. I think so." Like they have, and then where I landed was, I think they can pitch, and I think they have a top half of their lineup. And I don't know, the 8-0 comeback. That's stuff that gets you feeling things as a fan, Trev.
They can play defense too. This is a very, very good team, and I don't know. Like someone needs to look this up. What's the biggest jump in wins year after year? Like when their win total was at what 76 or something like that. Like that's like a 20 game
I think
improvement.
it was lower. I think it was like 73, and we were all like, I don't know, bro.
We just it just seemed like so many games to improve on. And I believe I took the under there, but to answer Jimmy's question, yes, they are a good team. Now they could use some bullpen help. There's no doubt about that. And I'm assuming because, well, I think everybody tries to address their bullpen at the deadline. So we'll see kind of like who they end up with. But if they do that, I mean, and the starters keep doing what they're doing, Cole Ragans. Can you say that again?
Cole Ragans.
Oh, is he even Southern? Didn't we look that up last episode? I think
we looked it up. I think he was Southern, but not like
he's like a Carolina kid or something like that.
Tallahassee,
Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, he's Southern then. That's like a weird Southern too. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a unique
perfect.
Southern. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably weird as hell.
Yeah.
This was a fun series because I think both these teams, I think everyone still is like, okay, are you for real? Even the Mariners get that because the offense hasn't been there. The starting pitching has absolutely carried them. And then in this series, you see they scored 9 runs. They scored 4 runs the second game, and then they win the last one in extras with 6. So they did their thing offensively. But the Royals in that first game, they get down, 8-0, I believe it was, and they end up winning 10-9. I think this is one of the cooler moments of the year. Bobby Witt ties the game on a triple down the line.
I was sick.
On the left field line. Like, not many people can do that.
Yeah.
Anyways, they end up winning the game on a walk-off. Like a JP Crawford tries to turn this double play, and I mean, as good of an effort as you can give on that play, but Maikel Garcia ends up beating it out. Nelson Velasquez.
Yeah.
But after the game, Bobby Witt is there, and he's getting interviewed post-game. And I don't know who the guy interviewing him was. I should look it up. Beavis, if you can. I don't know if you can. He's there, and all of a sudden you hear like Bobby in the background. And to this guy's credit, the reporter's credit, he steps away completely from Bobby, takes the mic away from Bobby. So now it's just Bobby in the frame of the shot, and the whole freaking place is Jews just chanting Bobby. And you see his face. It's like, it's such a cool moment. It looks like a freaking movie, dude. So credit to him for having the wherewithal to like kind of like let it breathe and let Bobby have his moment. He's the guy, man.
Yeah.
He is the fucking man. So winning that game winning that game when you go down 8-0, that shows me a little bit about this Royals team. Putting up 5 runs against Luis Castillo shows me a little bit about this Royals team. Having Cole Reagans throw the way he's been throwing, they this is a very, very good team.
Yeah, you'd love to see another bat. You mentioned the bullpen. They'll be an interesting team come trade deadline because they're also a franchise that doesn't operate like they're small market, but they also put chips on the table. Like even this offseason, they made work in free agency early, and Seth Lugo looks like one of the best signings. So I'll be interested to see what they do. Because even some of those, man, if I always reference the 21 Braves, and it's kind of unfair, but if they could bring in maybe a couple outfielders, and if one or two click, and if they don't, like you're not compromising the farm. Mariners fans, how are we feeling? I guess let us know. You come and you win that last game. Julio, extra innings, 2 outs, no runs across. He gets the first hit. And I don't know, blowing a game like that always feels pretty bad. So I don't know. Is it like, hey, we survived a road trip against a good team, or let me know how you Mariners fans, you always let us know how you're feeling. Let me know how you're feeling. Trev, what oh, here we go.
Can't hear a whole lot down here. I said to Bobby, you want to catch your breath? He said, no, I'm good. That triple just happened. This all just happened. 8-0
Goatee,
to a
by the way.
win. How did you do it?
I don't know. What do y'all think? Pretty fun?
Is that a little bit of a Cole Reagans voice?
Look at this, man.
How's that feel, Trev?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I've never been as talented as Bobby. I never had a fan base just freaking at my fingertips like that, okay?
And if you want to, they added rules to bring more base running in baseball, got rid of the shift, hopefully more athletic players. Watch Bobby Witt Jr. leave that batter's box. That's running with intention. My guy was going to third base, whether like young Vladdy Jr. was in left field, picking up that ball to throw. It's fun to see anyone run like that.
The record for most, for the biggest wins gain year over year in the divisional era, the 1998 to 1999 Diamondbacks went from 65 wins to 100.
Jeez. That's 35, okay.
To 35, so for the Royals, that would be their 91st win would match that.
Oh yeah, they might get there. They won 56 games last year.
Most recent team to flirt with it was the 2022 Orioles. They improved by 31 wins from 52 to 83.
Look at BBD. Come on.
Way to produce.
Who's sexy? Trev, where else do you want? I mean, obviously, there's a few series that have news and notes to them, but I don't think any that move the needle like those previous 3.
I'd agree, Pop. I mean, of course, I'm going to shout my guy Matt Vierling out for robbing the homer. Already did that once, so there's 2 there.
Right.
Brewers taking 2 or 3 from the Tigers. Just kind of like, okay, you expect that. Good on the Tigers because you have Skubal in the last game doing his thing, scored 10 runs. Good job. I think the Giants are kind of like they're back in the fold. Like they kind of answered the bell a little bit. Their season was looking pretty dreary, but they've put it on a little bit, getting right in the thick of the wild cards. Everyone's in the wild card race still.
They've got another they've got another Survivor Series coming up. I'll be honest with the people. Since Houston's gotten off to the bad start, it's been a crazy mental exercise for me all year because the start was so bad, but these are the 7-time ALCS attending Astros that I have no idea which way this story goes. And like, even if Houston fully clicks, which they've been playing a better brand, I guess this is my good spin for Houston. Like, it's gonna be a crazy story. Like, if Houston Astros insert themselves back into the season, it's going to be a crazy story. They get walked off on that last game after winning 2 out of 3, so that's whatever. But Houston's playing the Giants in a series that, like, these dogs are hungry right now, Trev.
I'll give Houston fans a little bit of something to latch on to a little bit. You know, you have some injuries there. We know, like, Tucker fouled that ball off his shin. That was nasty. Javier and Urquidy to have TJ surgery. I talked to Ryan Jeffers about Hunter Brown, and he said this guy is absolutely filthy. He has not had a good start to the year. Had a good game in this series. So maybe he's turning it around. And if that guy turns it around, it's kind of like what you need in a thin starting pitching staff is for him to be who you thought he was. That would help a lot. So Jeffers, who is possibly going to be in the All-Star game as a catcher, he had glowing words talking about Hunter Brown. So
it's huge.
There you go.
And yeah, this will segue us into the National Liga.
What last thing?
Okay.
I mean, shout out Blue Jays. They do their thing against the A's. You mentioned JJ Blaze walk-off homer. That was awesome. But did you see, like, the whole Yusei Kikuchi thing?
Yeah, the tackle was
hilarious, dude.
Sleepy Yusei with the hit stick. Yeah, that was good. That got us all good watching that at the stadium. Brewers fans, hey, we're gonna be talking about you a lot the rest of the season. When that bottom of the lineup is in torture chamber mode, Perkins, Turang, like, we're running, we're hitting, like, it's a problem, and it's been all year. A problem in a good way. Trev, let's do a little more National League, and it's brought to you, as BBD brings up the collision, it's brought to you by Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon's back, people. They go back to our Bronx roots, and it's because it's a healthy, nutritious snack, and there's a couple things I need to check off there. When I hear healthy snack, I think everyone has that knee-jerk reaction like, okay, so this is going to taste like a little off. No. Magic Spoon is legit. It passes the kid test. You could serve it to your kids, and they think it's a not healthy cereal, which is the number one way to go. But it's also 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein. Trev's been back in the gym. They've got keto-friendly, gluten-free. Like, so if you're a cereal person, if you're looking for a healthy snack, even magicspoon.com/baseball. Grab the variety pack today. Cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. Those are good flavors. And with promo code baseball at checkout, you save $5. So go check out Magic Spoon today. People are saying it's the cereal of the summer. So link in the description. Good people. I might after this. I'll be honest with you. In the National League, the Atlanta Braves, they're a powerhouse. They're a wagon, the lineup. You guys know these Braves. Oh, Nationals take 3 out of 4 after the Braves win the first game. Ronaldo and Marcel did their thing that they've done all year. But Jake Irvin, okay, Jake, I smell you. Nick Senzel with 3 extra base hits. You know Eddie Rosario's in the mix. And CJ Abrams, the alien. Trev, the Nationals, they've been giving Atlanta kind of the work this year. And Atlanta has some funny numbers now that they've been on the struggle bus for a little bit. We're going to have to talk about that. Good on you, Nats, Braves. Let's have a conversation. But let's also have a conversation about my Cincinnati Reds, who at one point, they were on a 7-game win streak. 7 or 8. They win the first 3 against the Chicago Cubs, who are floundering right now. But Imanaga saves them on that final game, and they knocked Montas out after 1.1. That's tough. But my Reds, baby. Ellie De La Cruz homers on his anniversary of getting called up to the show. Lodolo shoving. TJ Friedel is back. Jamer contributing. Tyler Stevenson. I like him. Nice guy. The Reds, they've got the good summer juice. The Cubs, looking for a life raft right now. Diamondbacks and Padres, they split 4. Those final 3 games, if you scored 9, your team won, which meant some big hitting performances. Profar, go check out the Jolly Olive video on him. Jake Cronenworth, my hat brother. We're brothers. And then on that final game, you know who had a big day, Trev? Jake McCarthy. It's Jake season, man. We cannot stop. They split 4 over it. Speaking of split, how about foggy London town? The Phillies put up a big 6-run inning in the 4th to essentially win Game 1, 7-2, with Ranger Suarez doing his thing. Bryce Harper throws one in the back of the net. It's good, innit? And then the second game, the Mets, they do enough to win 6-5. A big top of the 9th. How about it? Vientos Alonso, pass ball, JT. Come on now. Luis Torrens with the 3-2 game-ending double play. You don't see that a lot. They split 2. We're having fun in London. Rockies and Cardinals split 4. Guys, kind of don't care. I'm sorry. I need more either way or the other. Rockies jump the fish for last place in the National League. You'll hear more about Zeke Tovar later, people. Guardians win 2 out of 3 from the Marlins. Yeah. Tyler Freeman with a couple home runs lately. I think he only had 1 last month, and now he's been going. Brian Rocchio gets his first. Snaps for the kids. And then the Twins-Pirates series everyone's talking about. Oh, no, Trev. Twins get shut out for how many innings? A lot. At least 2 games. But Keller does that to people. I guess Luis Ortiz is doing that to people now. But the Twins rally in extras. They put up 11 after being tied late. I'll let you talk. I actually don't want to hear you talk about it. Maybe we won't. Joe Ryan's hot. That's what happened in the National League.
Great, Pop. You know I got the standings. You want them?
On lock. Need them.
Oh, well, it's Monday, though, so we're going to start in the East.
Yes.
As soon as I move your face away from the stand. There we go. Those Philadelphia Phillies out in London, 45-29 games ahead of the Atlanta Braves, who were just not swept, but got 3 or 4 taken from them from the Washington Nationals. They're 35-28. The Nationals, 30-35. The Mets, what is you doing? Stevie Cohen. What's your move, bro? What's your move? I want to be friends with you. 28-36. The Miami Marlins, 22-43. In the West, the Dodgers, 41-26, 8 games ahead of the 34-35 Padres. The Giants, also 2 games below 500. Excuse me, I thought that was 1. 32-34. The Diamondbacks, 31-35. And the Rockies, 23-42. The West is just mid as can be. My goodness, guys, figure it out. And then in the Central, the Milwaukee Brewers, 38-27. Trade your ace away. It's going to be fine. They knew it. The Cubs, 6.5 games back. The Reds, 6.5 games back. The Cardinals, 6.5 games back. Cubs, 32-34. Cincy, 32-34. Cardinals, 31-33. And then the Pirates, only 7 games back, a half game back of all those teams, 31-34. And in the National League, every single team is within 3 games of a playoff spot, except for Colorado and Miami. Even you, Mets, you, Mets, are 3 games out of a wild card spot. And those are the standings in the National League. Do you think I'll ever be friends with Steve Cohen?
We have a couple loose connections. The answer is no. Like, I don't think you and Cohen are going to be boys.
We have people we want to be friends with. A Guy Fieri, I almost went to his chicken spot in Pittsburgh, or didn't end up making it, trying to be on a health kick. Guy Fieri or Steve Cohen?
Ooh, I get to have one as a friend?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the wrong answer, but for me, it's the right answer, and it's Guy Fieri. I mean,
it's Guy Fieri.
We're electric.
I think we should start like a thing, like, you know, that people do those challenges, like day 1 of us asking Guy Fieri to acknowledge our existence.
That's gonna be our first That's going to be our first just give in and be horribly slutty on social media.
I don't care. For Guy Fieri, like, I want to hang out, cook food with you. Like, I don't know. Like,
know what I think we need to
like
do?
all I want to do.
I think he's a Vegas guy. Well, I mean, obviously in a way he's a Vegas
he's
guy.
a worldwide guy.
Yeah, we need to. I think the dream day with Guy Fieri is a football game, like tailgate, like awesome food. Guy hooks that up, and then during the game, you walk before you walk in the stadium, couple tequila shots. Like
I'm out on that. I don't want to go anywhere with him. I want to go to his house. Like, I want to cook in his backyard, or he can come to my house.
How was your night alone in Pittsburgh? Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
You had a free night to yourself in Pittsburgh.
What does that even mean? I did?
Friday. Apple had the game.
Oh,
This is how we started this whole convo.
I did?
Okay.
I went to dinner. It was a nice night. I had a glass of wine, had a steak. It's good.
Trev, the Atlanta Braves. The Nationals are 6-2 against them this season. So this is going to be a lot of Braves talk, but Nats, I want to give you some flowers. And man, it's a lot of young guys doing it. Mitchell Parker, Jake Irvin, Mackenzie Gore, DJ Hurst. Sure. The Braves are 9-15 in their last 24, Trevor. Yo, that's a month-long skid that they're on. So I don't know. I don't want to do the generic, like, hey, look at these guys, and I know they're missing something. The Braves are so talented. But a little bit of that.
That's what it is. That's what it is, Jake.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they're still 7 games over 500, right?
Yeah.
They're still firmly in a playoff spot. They've lost Spencer Strider and Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah.
Think about that, people. Like, they are weathering the storm and doing just fine. I mean, I think what everyone's talking about is Marcel's the only guy kind of playing to his ability.
Yeah.
Everybody else on the roster is playing under, especially offensively, to what they can do. So for every other team, you know what we'd say? It's coming. Like, the regression is coming. The positive regression is coming. I think that, and Snicker said this after the game, like, one day, like, the floodgates are going to open. And I still believe that. And we're at June 10th, we're getting to, like, the middle part of the season. AA is going to be doing something. If you're a Braves fan, I think you've just been spoiled a little bit with the success and having everybody play every single day. I mean, I guess you could say, hey, we already saw Ronald Acuna out once. We've been through this. That this team is going to be okay. They're going to make the moves they need to make. It's just a little shocking that we haven't seen like Matt Olson or an Austin Riley kind of go.
Yeah.
But I'd bet so much. Okay, so right now, Matt Olson has a 751 OPS, a 112 OPS plus. I would bet a lot of money that Matt Olson is going to be somewhere in the low to mid 8s by the end of this year with his OPS.
Yeah.
Would you take that bet?
I mean, yeah, and I think the one that jumps off the sheet more to me is Austin Riley. I mean, Austin Riley, he, this offseason with Jolly, we did some tier rankings of positions, and third base is stacked. Third base is one of the best positions in baseball right now. And Austin Riley had a pretty good argument to be considered the best. And now everyone's thinking of their third baseman, and you're getting mad. But the last 2 seasons, 38 homers, 93 RBI. He led the league in total bases last year, 6th in MVP. 2022. He's been top 7 of MVP the last 3 seasons. He's 27 years old. Right now, 84 OPS plus.
He's not hitting the fastball right now. He's got a negative 10 run value on the fastball. I mean, last year he had a negative 2 run value, so he hasn't, it's not like his calling card necessarily to hit. But he had a 250 batting average last year, 490 slugging against the 4-seam fastball. This year, the numbers are a little bit alarming. 113 batting average, 183 slug against the fastball. So, whether that is hey man, like I played a lot of baseball over the last 3 or 4 years because they're constantly, playing every single day. They're constantly going to the playoffs, so they're adding essentially a whole other season in the last 3 years. Not a whole other season, but a lot of extra swings for him. Has that caught up? I don't know. Is it something mechanical, like that he needs to just clean up a little bit? Like, is he getting long? Like those things, if it is mechanical, he can fix. If he is tired, they can fix that. But they have to figure out something, and they have to do it soon because we're sitting here June 10th. Like records mean something at this point. But if you're going to point to one thing, I mean, it's definitely that. Like he just hasn't hit the fastball.
And again, credit to you, Nats. 6-2 against the Braves this year. A lot of young pitchers getting involved. Like I know
Oh no, they're looking good. The Jessica Camarado has an article about like the young arms right now on MLB.com, and here are the stats. I mean, Parker got the loss, but he went 7 innings, 3 hits, two runs. Jake Irvin 6 innings, 4 hits, I believe no runs. Mackenzie Gore 5 innings, 6 hits, only 2 runs. Then Hers, who comes up 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. Like these are all young dudes. Hers the rookie. Mackenzie Gore's in his 3rd season. He's 25 years old. Jake Irvin's in his 2nd season. Mitchell Parker's a rookie. Like there's a future here with the Nationals. If you watch them play, like they have some exciting, like fun to watch players on their team. Like this is a team we're going to be talking about for sure, at the end of this year and then years to come.
I'm on the Nats 2025 bandwagon. But man, right now, Nats fans, I don't know where you're. I guess let me know. You know your team better than me. But God, they have a bullpen that you could get a lot of pieces out of. They got a couple other. Jesse Winker looks like he might have found something that, I don't know. With the right deadline this year, they could be set up really well for the next 5. Trev, National League topics, Cubs, Reds, ships passing in the night a bit.
Yeah.
Reds had a 7-game win streak that gets stopped by Shota and the Cubbies on Sunday. The Cubs have won 7 of their last 22 games. Again, if this was talking baseball a month ago, we were just kind of doing looks like the Cubs are going to be the team that pushes the Brewers this year. They got new talent. They got old talent. The Cubs, they've figured it back out in Chi-Town. Now, not so fast, my friend. And you mentioned Strider and Acuna, pretty big pieces for Atlanta that they wouldn't mind having. These Reds were missing a couple guys. TJ Friedl sets the table for them. He was out. And then it also becomes performance, and they've had a couple guys kicking a gear, while the Cubbies are the exact opposite story.
Yeah, no, it just it hasn't gone well for them lately, and they've just lost games, man. I don't think they've been playing too poorly. Like they've had everyone healthy, so you can't really play that card. Like they have a full roster right now. It just really hasn't gone their way, and you're kind of like looking for a reason. And I guess you could talk a little bit offensively. Like they haven't had anyone really like go crazy offensively. It's like kind of similar to, well, not similar to the Braves, because I believe the track record of some of the Braves hitters are a little bit better than these Cubs hitters. But they got one guy with an OPS over 800. That's Seiya Suzuki, and it's at 802. So like they're just not getting it done offensively. I think I've talked about this before. Like you got to go down to Michael Busch, the 5th for WAR on their team. You have to go down to Michael Busch before you get to a position player. You got 4 pitchers ahead of that. Like they're just not. They haven't done it enough offensively. Essentially, is what's going on in Chicago.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been pushing my offense regular season narrative, and the Reds during this 7-game win streak were averaging 7 runs a game. That's a decent formula. Before that, it was 4 runs a game. So that matters, and Stevenson had a big double in game 2. Like there's a lot of names that we've heard over the past couple years with Cincinnati that we haven't been saying a ton. Like Jamer. 3 homers and 35 at-bats in June after having 6 in the previous 179. Yeah, you need guys to perform, and it's that's why people come here for the analysis. The Cubs players currently not.
Well, I think
the Reds players are.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the truth of it. They're kind of middle of the pack offensively. I mean, they're 14th in OBP in the league. They're 19th in OPS. They're 14th in run. They're 19th in home runs. Like, the bullpen hasn't been good for them. So I don't know if they need a spark, like what it can be if it just needs some time. And they're just not. They're mid right now.
Yeah,
Like, kind of like all across the roster. Save some of their starting pitching has been very good. The bullpens, like I said, that's been their biggest fault pitching wise. 24th in WHIP. They're walking too many people. So I mean, you can look to that for reinforcements there, but really, yeah, it's the offense has to get it going. And you can say that about quite a few teams. A lot of them you're talking injuries with, and you just really can't say that with the Cubs right now.
And this is the part of the reason I fell in love with the Reds. These are guys that currently have positive OPS pluses for them. Tyler Stevenson, Jonathan India, Ellie De La Cruz, Jamer Candelario, Spencer Steer, Will Benson, Jake Fraley, TJ Friedel. So, again, that like Oriole-like comparisons were thrown around last year when they started hitting the road. It's because of when they can put together a very deep lineup, which when these dog days of summer roll around and pitchers are starting to go through the grind and when you can't have one of those innings where you got the backup catcher, backup infielder, and someone in a slump, like that allows a pitcher to really settle in. And that's what the Reds are building up to. Did you go on?
Go ahead.
Please.
You go on. I have nothing important to say.
It's good.
I'll say this. I don't believe in the Reds just yet.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
What I was going to say. Go on. Reds fans hate me. It's okay.
No, I mean, they need to prove more. Like we're working. We just worked to get 2 games under 500. So, and last year, it's not like they had a 90-win season and went dancing. Like it didn't end as hot. So they still need to show a little more. But I think surviving the early season 20-30, I think they're coming with more. But they fooled me wrong before. Did you catch any London action, Trev?
Yeah, a little London action. I was working, but I did get to see quite a bit of that. I was just playing kind of at the odd hour, so that helped out. Probably saw more of those games than most of the other games. I think they ended up being like good games. Like usually when you go and do these, the what do you call them? The travel games, I guess you would say.
Okay.
Like I feel like sometimes they're just not great baseball being played, but I think we got what fans wanted out of these games. The first game, well, first of all, shout out Ranger Suarez for being back out there. But you get the Bryce Harper homer, and Phillies kind of roll there. They scored 6 in the top of the 4th, and you get Bryce doing the whole celebration thing, which was pretty hilarious because I think it was cool, but the reaction of the Phillies dugout was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Did they not know he was going to do it? I'm not really sure. JT Realmuto gives him a little wink, like, all right, bro, we see you. I like that he did it. I don't want it to come off like I didn't like that he did it because I think he's a showman, and you kind of need more of those in baseball. I just thought the reaction to the bench was pretty funny.
I love the slide. I think my 2 critiques were he needed to do it a little close.
Across the plate?
No, I was going to say that, but like that's Bryce Harper gets hurt doing that, and it opens the show. So I think he needed to do it a little closer to home plate. Like he needed to touch home plate, turn, and then kind of let it eat. He got like close to the dugout. And then the slide was bad. Like you kind of need to recline when you do that. And he didn't fully commit to the recline that he like almost stumbled over himself. That everyone was like,
challenge. I want to see you go out to the park today. Go out to Central Park.
You want me to hit that Harper?
Slide,
okay.
Yeah. I want to see you do it.
I mean, Trev, you forget 3 years varsity soccer, okay? Little Poppy.
Did you ever do that once on the soccer field?
No. I was.
Oh, that's good. What are you talking about?
Sure. See, he almost tips over at the end. You need to stick that.
He's doing it on artificial turf. I mean, that thing catches you. Come on.
Mets Philly split. I don't know. Yeah, I enjoyed it. The crowd looks fun. I don't know. When the Yanks and Sox went over there, it was a offensive fest that was like didn't even feel like real baseball. So that was off. Like this felt like real baseball. Mets fans, Starling Marte not getting to that ball. That had people asking questions.
Yeah. Shout out David Dahl. Like,
yeah.
I think he's got 2 homers and 6 at bats for the Phillies. And then the last play, look, I think you got to give credit to Torrens. Like, first of all, you said it was a 3-2 put out. That's a 2-3 put out.
2-3,
no
sorry.
big deal. And it was the first time that's ever happened, like a game ending in recorded AL NL history. I said that when it happened. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. So like the wherewithal to like grab that ball and not say like, well, I'll just get one or I'll throw it to second to try to get the double play. Like the wherewithal to go backwards and touch the plate, I think is pretty good. You know, especially like on a swinging bunt like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like it's a heady play and it ended the game. And I think it was hilarious to talk about Nick Castellanos. He's like, I thought about just kicking the ball because he thought he'd only be out, but the rule states that both him and the runner would be out because he'd be trying to get rid of the double play, obviously.
Yeah, that throw by Torrens is sick, man. The way he moves his body, like it's become a sports meme / joke, but Patrick Mahomes makes that throw and it's, they're opening Sports Center with it. So
stop, bro. They're never going to open Sports Center with baseball again. I
know. Don't.
I did think about kicking it. I think that if I did, I think I'm just called out and everything stays the same. So in hindsight, I think I should have kicked it.
Yeah, and I think Dolan put in our notes what the rule says. I think if he does that, I think both are out. But I don't know.
That's what he said. Yeah,
make
if
the umpires
prove he
did
break
it on
up a
purpose.
double play.
Yeah, make the umpires make a weird call. Trev, Guardians handle their business against Miami. Miami's the worst team in the NL. Cards and Rocks split 4, which Cards, that's not what you're seeing when you start that series. And then your Twins, Trev. I guess, honestly, that's the thing I'm most interested right now for a minute is the offense been going missing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem for them right now, and they need guys to step up. And you see the 11 runs in the last game, like, oh, they must have went off. And it was like, not really. Like, they scored a bunch of them in extra innings against the guy who had absolutely no idea where the ball was going. And they let this guy die on the hill because they like didn't have any pitching left. I felt bad. And he was like hitting people. It was a bad situation. Shout out Rowdy Tellez. He had a game-winning homer, not a walk-up, but a game-winning homer. The only play I'll talk about, the Twins offense didn't show up. I think it was 22 scoreless innings in a row. That's their second longest streak. The only other one was against the Yankees when Jeffers hit that homer, and then they just were blank the rest of the way. But they need to get it going offensively, and they don't have like a guy that's like, I was talking about this with my constituents. I don't freaking know. They don't have a guy that's like been a bona fide hitter his whole career. Like Carlos Correa, like is an all-around player. I don't think you'd say he's like a bona fide raker. Same thing with Max Kepler. Like, and Byron Buxton has had spurts of it, but like he's also had some down years. Like, I don't know if they're going to make any moves. I think they're going to roll with this roster. And if the guys overperform and they all get hot together, sure, it could be good with the bullpen and the starting pitching can be okay. Simeon Woods Richardson like looked really, really good, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do. The only thing I want to talk about was funky play in the game. Buxton runners on second and third. He fouls a pitch off. It's like a completely obvious foul ball. Like he puts his barrel here. The ball hits off the barrel, ricochets completely the wrong way. The umpires don't catch it. The Twins score a run on it. And there's nothing that Derek Shelton can do because you can't review that. It was the craziest thing. We've seen some umpiring gaffes, but like the fact, and they got together and talked about it, and they still said, I don't know, it's the pass ball. The ball went completely sideways. hit off his barrel, Jake.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it right. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Anyways.
Give me a common sense rule. Feels like we could cover a lot of things in the replay review. But we could cover even more things in standout performance.
Standout performances. Yeah.
Standout performance brought to you by the Farmer's Dog, Trev. Every day, more people and more vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the can, and feeding their dogs dog food that's actually food. Take care of Fido, people. Higher quality food, but it's also pre-proportioned specifically for your dog based on their nutritional needs. A lot of different dogs out there. Young dogs, old dogs, big dogs, little dogs. They make it especially for you. My dog, Noodle, comes in little bags that say Noodle. He loves it. It's never too late to begin investing in your pooch's health. And thefarmersdog.com/talkin, you get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. So that's farmersdog.com/talkin. Get 50% off. There's a link in the description. Where are you going, Trev?
I'm going to go with Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I think he's just kind of been overshadowed. We expected so much out of this guy as he was handed a massive contract. So I guess the expectations are okay there. But he's been very, very good, but not like otherworldly good. He is 7th in the league in FIP, which is what I always say, like, pitchers really love that statistic. But he goes into Yankee Stadium, which again we just talked about, like what a difficult place to go in and pitch. And they were trying to sign him, and I'm sure like people were letting him hear it as he was warming up, and like as he walked into pitch. He goes there against a great offense, obviously without Juan Soto, but 7 innings pitched, only 2 hits allowed. He strikes out 7. He's got his ERA down to 3. Like I mentioned, his FIP is down to 2.64. The first time he went 6 innings was April 19th. That was his 5th start, Jake. And since then, so he's had 9 starts, and he's had a quality start in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those 9 starts. So he's doing exactly what he needs to be doing. Like, it would not shock me if this guy's ERA at the end of the year was in the 2s. And that's a bona fide earmuffs fucking ace. Like, I think people are like kind of like hating on this guy because he got so much money, and then he had that one start to start the year in Korea, and they kind of just wrote him off because he went 5 innings the next start, 5 innings, 5 innings. But like the body of work at the end of the season is going to be incredible for this guy.
His ERA is 3 flat right now. If you take out the opening day Korea game, 1 innings, 5 earned runs, he's had a 2.41 over 12 starts. Like,
this is a marketing 101. If his ERA was 2.99, we'd be like, oh yeah,
right. That's why they do
crazy.
it.
That's why everything's 2.99, people.
The other part that's cool. And Trev, I guess correct me if I say anything wrong here. For the Japanese players, we know nothing about them. And like, I don't know, just culturally they're like kind of nicer people. Like, we were laughing looking at the stadium getting cleared up at the end of yesterday's game because it was a disaster. Like, in Japan, like, the people come together and clean the stadium, and like you think of them being so respectful and the bowing, and like Yamamoto, you just mentioned pitching at Yankee Stadium, probably hearing it pretty good. His fastball ticked up a bit. He normally sits at 95. He was sitting at 97. He threw his hardest pitch of the year. Like, guess what? This guy's a dog.
I have a question.
And he loved it. Go on.
It's not for you because I don't think you speak 2 languages.
Well,
if it's your second language, and I don't know how well he knows English, but I'm assuming he's starting to get it a little bit. Like, if it's your second language, can you just like turn it off?
Like an SAP button on your TV, just off.
Yeah, like like if I knew Spanish and I went down, I was playing like in the winter leagues or whatever, and like people were like ragging me in Spanish, could I just be like, nope, English? turn it on, and like I just wouldn't understand what they were like talking about. I could like kind of like white noise it.
Lean is
Maybe
no.
with crowd noise. I don't know.
My lean is no. I think if you understand a language, you understand a language. But again, I am not an expert in that field. So it's a great standout, Trev. It's a great standout.
Thanks.
I'm going a little, I don't want to say off the map today, but the problem is this guy isn't on the map enough. And I'll even throw my Yanks under the bus a little bit on a losing series.
Oh.
Trev, Anthony Volpe, the prince who's promised, the young shortstop, rookie year.
I've been impressed.
And he's really good, man. He really is. He had one tough stretch this year. Otherwise, he's been great. His defense has gotten better after winning the Gold Glove. But it's a whole Yankee thing, right? He's from Jersey. He liked the Yankees growing up. Blah, blah, blah. Yankee, Yankee, Yankee. My guy Zeke Tovar. Ezequiel Tovar from your Colorado Rockies is 22 years old. He's from Venezuela. He plays the position well, and he's been balling out this year. He's got an 812 OPS. And in a series where they split with the Cardinals, who in St. Louis is very much in playoff contention. They have a roster that's supposed to be in playoff contention. The Rocks split that series, and my guy Tovar puts up a 4-for-4 with 2 homers, 4 RBI. He's got 10 homers on the year. He has made a jump. He had 15 all of last year, a 121 OPS plus, because, again, playing at Coors Field, that can affect that a little bit. But what this guy is doing for a young shortstop in the league, I feel bad. If he was on a better team, maybe we would talk about him a little more. If he was in a different market, we would talk about him a lot more. Like, Trev, what if this guy was the Dodgers shortstop? How often would we be talking about this MFer? So I don't know. This was a shot to give him some love. So some love for my guy.
I like that. And that's Wing Nuts always talked about Ezequiel Tovar with glowing praise. So it's nice to see him kind of take a step forward offensively. I'm looking at a Savant page right now. It's interesting. Definitely a defense first type of guy. The traditional numbers are looking good. I won't even talk about anything else. Congratulations, Tovar, on a great start, and I hope he continues to do this. 6 foot 162, is that right?
6 foot 1. Or we can ask Kels, because that reeks of 5'10", 140. But you can't list that.
I don't know if Kelsey's working this series or not, but we are playing the Rockies. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey. If you can be a defense-first shortstop that can hit with an 8 OPS, there's no walks. But again, that's something that can develop as you see more major league
22
pitching.
years old.
Right. Like, I don't know. I think there's more in the tank. And if there is, and you're a shortstop and you can play like that, yeah. Trev, a lot of guys could have got love. I saw the freight train, David Peralta, on our standout. A couple Red Sox had big days at the office. The pitchers are throwing.
Keller.
I see a lot of 9-inning outings. Framber, Gossman. But I'm hoping we're going to see some of these guys on the best part of our show.
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Are your fingerprints all over Mitch Keller as well? I believe they are, right?
Me and Mitch Keller did DM over the weekend. He posted some of his highlights, and they were disgusting.
Yeah, he carved my Twins up, yeah.
Let me, I'll get it because it's another embarrassing one for me. I replied to it. I said, that X-axis movement is gross, and then in parentheses, I said, I don't actually talk like that. Mitch said, ha, I was working that XS for dang sure. He looked gross.
You think that was code for shut up?
Yes.
All right, in Fuego for the series, your guy, Teoscar Hernandez, we kind of talked about him quite a bit. He was 6 for 12, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 9 runs driven in, 1 hit by pitch. What was that about? He ranked 2nd in the NL in homers and 3rd in the NL in runs driven in. Jurickson Profar, he's been doing it all season long. 5 for 14 in his series. Against Arizona's a 4-game set, a double, 2 home runs, 5 runs driven in, 3 walks, a stolen base. He has 10 homers in 69 games this season. He only had 9 homers in 125 games last season, so he be raking. Not to be confused with Cole Reagans. Chicago White Sox shortstop Paul DeYoung. That just doesn't seem right. I don't know why. Yeah, 6 for 16 in the 4-game set against Boston. 375 average, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 6 runs driven in, a hit by pitch for the week. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., just mentioned him. 9 for 26, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 7 runs driven in, 5 runs, a walk and hit by pitch. TJ Fradel, 7 for 23. That's a 304 average, a double, 2 homers, 7 runs driven in, 6 runs, 3 walks, 2 hit by pitches, and 2 stolen bases. And then our guy, Hunter Renfroe, guarantee he hit some homers. 7 for 17. That's a 412 average, 2 doubles, 2 homers. Yep. 6 runs driven in with a 1.327 OPS. And my friends, this is the list you want to be on. Anthony, what?
Santander.
15 for 46, 2 doubles, 5 Jimmy Jacks over the 2 weeks, 8 runs driven in, 9 runs scored. He had 4 walks for the 1 daughter OPS. Matt Waldron, don't call him a knuckleballer, Jake.
No.
Don't do it. He's a pitcher who has a knuckleball. 3 games started, 19 and 1/3 innings pitched, only 11 hits in those 19 and a third innings. 2 earned runs. Yep. 16 Ks to 2 walks. That's a .93 earned run average with a .67 whip. He's got a 178 and 39 Ks and 6 starts since his May 5th start at Arizona, where he gave up those 7 earned runs in 3 innings pitched. So you can cherry pick a lot of stuff. And this is the last guy on the list, I believe. It is the Dodgers reliever, Alex Vesia. 7 games, 1 save, 2 holds. He pitched 6 2/3 innings in those 7 games and has only given up 1 hit, no earned runs, only 1 walk to 12 Ks. He's allowed 1 earned run over his last 21 games since April 12th. That's how you get into some high leverage situations, Alex. And that, my friends, is Susan Fuego.
Nothing short of magnificent, Trev. I mean that.
And I am going to do, I got to get my charger for my laptop while you read.
Yeah. I'll let you miss the worst part of the show. The IL update. And it starts with a big one. One of the more popular guys in this program, Kyle Tucker. If you didn't see it, I mean, it's borderline a squeamish one. But he fouls the ball off his shin way too hard. He goes on the IL for Houston. A couple of BBDs, guys. Jimmy Herget for the Braves, and Dick Lovelady for Tampa. Ryan Weathers left for Miami. Ty France, Seattle. Emilio Pagani just came off, it felt like. Now he's back. Brendan Rodgers returning from the IL. John Gray for Texas. Keaton Wynn, one of the sneakier, better pitcher names. Jordan Wicks for the Cubbies. Here's what I'll say. Not a lot of names either way, so I'm good with it.
I'm sorry. I was not familiar with Richard Lovelady.
You're not a Dick Lovelady guy.
I mean, I think I am like a Dick Lovelady guy. I just didn't know it.
I think you are too.
What does Dick Lovelady feature?
I think it.
Is it hard and fast?
I think it curves to the left a little bit.
Sheesh, Pop.
Yeah, that's one of those. Like, his parents knew what they were doing, right?
I don't know.
Like, if your last name's Lovelady, it feels like there's really one first name that you should be nervous about.
I don't know, man. I don't know how that happened. I think like I've named 2 kids.
Right.
Now my last name isn't Lovelady.
Correct.
But like Richard Lovelady, like you know what you're getting into. And now I need to research that more. I need to know like what his like who his parents are, where he's from. They gotta be like hippies.
It's either hippies or I looked it up. It's Kennesaw, Georgia, so I don't know if it's just like the South and we don't care. Maybe they're Southern hippies. I don't know.
Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Well, someone reach out. Trev, let's start the week.
Awards!
And they're brought to you by Trevor Plouffe. So go get it, kid.
Oh, I'm going to go first. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't. My award's called the PETA Award because I love animals. I eat them, but I love them. So I don't think that's what PETA wants me to say.
Right.
Actually, so maybe it's not the PETA Award. But this is the. Oh, I got a good name for the award. The Animal Farm Award. Isn't that the book, Beavers? I
Yeah.
feel like you would know that.
Okay.
Sorry. You too, Jake. I absolutely love that book. It's one of the ones that most people have to read at some point, whether it's in like grade school or high school. I think it's more of like a high school book. Excellent book talking about farm animals and how I'm going to connect this is well, we talked about the London series, and it was Phillies and the Mets and all the Phillies greats were out there. You had Jimmy Rollins, you had Chase Utley, you had Ryan Howard, you had Shane Victorino, all just making their way promoting the game of baseball. These guys are world champions, and they want to go over there and say, hey, like, let's go promote baseball. But the one who had the best weekend of them all was Jayson Werth, and he wasn't even there because, well, he was at the Belmont Stakes with his horse Dornick, which won the Belmont Stakes. And look at the outfit. They interviewed him, and they asked him, like, you were a world champion. How does this compare to winning it all, on the baseball field? And he says, horse racing is the most underrated sport, bar none. This absolutely is on par with any championship. And he held the trophy up. And I just think it's hilarious to see him. It's not hilarious. I'm actually like, it's pretty cool to see him like getting into something different. And if you know anything about horses, once they win something like this, it's just take it to the bank with these horses. They go have sex just like Richard Lovelady, and they get paid every single time. So Jayson Werth, who has had some electric moments on the field. I think his biggest moment was when he was playing in that men's league game. He went, you see that? You've seen that video.
Yeah.
And he just cracks a homer and just having a great time. That was awesome. When was that? Was he just like not signed or something?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say
It was it wasn't like
COVID.
It was
COVID's not
pre-COVID,
real, yeah,
for sure. Because he retired in 2018. I don't know. It was awesome to see him in that moment, and it did really seem like it meant a lot to him. Because a lot does go into keeping these horses, at racing shape, and you do feel a connection with these animals. So congrats to Jayson Werth, who while everybody else was kind of celebrating doing the whole worldwide thing, he's like, nah, man, I got my horse and I'm a winner. I don't know how many World Series winners are also a major horse race winner as well. Like the Belmont Stakes it's one of the three, and he's got one now. Look at him holding that trophy up. Oh man, I thought it was cool.
Trev, I'm glad you highlighted it. I have a couple things of note.
Okay.
First of all, Jayson Werth on his Baseball Reference, his grandfather and uncle, Major League Baseball players.
Love that.
The show field. So that's kind of cool. We talk about baseball guys and baseball lifers, and it's ironic because Jayson Werth is here not being usually what we talk about as a baseball lifer, as he's at the Belmont Stakes. And then Trev, I don't know which direction this is going to send you, and I'm a little nervous, but Jayson Werth career earnings. You want to take a stab at it?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's over 100 for sure. I want to say 120 something, 126 million.
$136 million before he started to have horses having sex.
It's an interesting thing. Like, hey, that's my horse. He can have sex with your horse, but you got to pay me. That's kind of what the whole game is about, right?
I mean, that kind of is the whole game, yes. You got horses in your neighborhood.
I do. Ziggy and Tommy Halflinger, they're horses in my neighborhood.
Ziggy and Tommy, I'm not taking the bait on that one.
There was a famous Talking Baseball picture of they put mine and yours heads on Ziggy and Tommy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Famous. Trev, good award. Great award. I'm going to give out the Don't Fly Over Me award.
Don't you dare.
Don't fly over me. We do a lot of East Coast and West Coast on this show, Trev. You're the king of LA. BBD's the king of the city. We got the coast covered. You know, it's a very if we ever wanted for an off-season episode to do a serious discussion about, you know, the salaries in baseball and how a lot of these Central America, or the flyover states, how their budgets, they operate very differently. Two of those teams have been awesome this year. So awesome that they didn't get a ton of love this episode. The Brew Crew and the Cleveland Guardians. But it's not about them. It's about a team that plays both of them this week. A team that's been on the tip of a lot of people's tongues and also didn't get discussed a ton this episode. The Toronto Blue Jays. They are facing off with Milwaukee and Cleveland this year, which has been a bad recipe for a lot of teams. Toronto, don't say that second T. They've passed the test recently. They've been 9-4 in their last 13 games. Now, a couple of those are against lesser teams. There's a White Sox in there. There's an Oakland in there. Don't care. At a certain point, you got to win games, and I don't care who's in front of you. Milwaukee and Cleveland, you've got a little juice. You're playing a decent brand of baseball. Now's when we find out. And I'm in. Tampa just went to the cellar. Like, start jumping teams, Toronto. I still love their talent. Gossman goes complete game shut piece. Bassett goes 8 innings, 1 run. They lose that game. Like, we are in this last fight or flight mode for Toronto, and they're doing enough. Have a big week, Toronto. Get back in the game. I don't want to talk about landing spots for Bichette and Vlad, and I'll keep doing this, but this is going to be one of the toughest ones because, man, Milwaukee really put Detroit in the torture chamber, and they've been doing that to everyone. And Cleveland, just, man, it feels like we haven't been talking about them a lot, but they keep winning ball games that, I don't know, nuts on the line this week.
Nuts on the line. We didn't even shout out. Not shout out. We didn't talk about Kevin Biggio getting DFA'd.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette's been going off. Still, the overall numbers on the season are not where they need to be. Vlad has been tearing the cover off the ball. He's doing his thing. It'd be interesting. Like, you know, we're hearing about the trade rumors. It would be crazy for them to trade Bo Bichette now, like where his value is kind of at his.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna cherry pick some numbers for him since May 20th. Might as well do that because it got some hits. So that is the last 20 games. 293 batting average, 451 slug, 769 OPS. So better, still not really up to par with what he can do. Look, there's a lot of teams like this, Jake. A lot of teams that are floundering in the middle, and you can't convince me that that's not by design by some of these teams. With the extra wild card, I feel like a lot of teams are okay right in the middle. We'll see what we can do. If we overachieve a little bit, hey, like we're going to be firmly in the playoff race. If we just play to what we think we are, we're going to be right there. We can make a move, whatever it is. I don't think the Blue Jays are one of those teams. I think they've tried to put together a roster, and they've just kind of been lumped into these teams. So yeah, it's interesting. A great week of baseball for them. We'll get them right back into the discussion. But they haven't really been able to separate themselves at all at any part of this year.
Manoah goes to the IL with UCL surgery. You mentioned DFA and Biggio. Like, he was supposed to be a part of all of this. So, yeah, I don't know. In a way, I respect that because sometimes that can be the hard move. But I think this Toronto front office is reading the room, and like you're absolutely right. A lot of the teams that are hovering around 500 right now are very much okay with it. The Blue Jays are not. So like, go and get it.
I think my Twins are like okay with it, which makes me upset.
Dude, your Twins are hype. And by the way, I just looked at their upcoming schedule. I think the Twins have an Oakland
and Colorado.
Colorado.
But they have played quote unquote one of the hardest schedules, but by winning percentage, their schedule opens up crazy during the second half. So this is the kind of the start of it, and they do. I've heard them talking. They don't care about beating the good teams.
Right.
If we take care of the business against the quote unquote bad teams, like they'll be in the playoffs, and then we saw what happened with the Diamondbacks last year. I mean, that is the way teams are thinking.
Yeah. Huge Rocky show for me. Michael Tolia made a couple big plays.
Oh, nice catch.
Robbing a sick homer and then hits a little league inside the park home run. So my Rocks are back. And that's what you're watching this week in beautiful Minnesota. So
got a couple games. I will be donning a City Connect jersey. I'm telling you, let's let it play out, okay?
Who's City Connect?
I am the city.
Okay, I was gonna say, are they getting you a Plouffe City Connect? Because I
don't
want
know if
that.
it's gonna say my name.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I don't know. Hopefully it's a Kepler. Obviously, my favorite player.
End the episode. Thank you everyone for listening. Enjoy your week. It's getting real. It's getting real.
It's getting real.
We a month out from All Star. Wow.
Chick sucks.
Little less.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
Can I say something? I'm sick of living out of a suitcase.
I know.
Finish line's in sight.
Tell Teddy I love him. You know.
Just got a pick from Olivia. I was like, oh, what did I get? What kind of pick did I get? It wasn't.
Dick Lovelady.